Hello. Um, I would like to talk about something that is quite controversial, or can be a controversial issue, and may cause offence to some people, but nonetheless it is the truth. I would like to talk about race. Now, my argument, and I believe it's more than an argument, I believe it's just a fact, a verifiable fact scientifically, is that there is no such thing as race. Now, by race I mean white, black, Asian, that sort of thing. But I don't believe that they actually exist, not in the way that we think they do. For example, I have more in common genetically with someone who has a similar body type to me, a similar weight, similar height, who is black, than I do with someone who has got a different body type to me, who is white. So I'm supposedly white, or Celtic, I suppose some people would say that that's the Scottish race, Scottish, Irish, Welsh, that sort of thing. Some people would say that that white is a group, and it's a verifiable group, that you have certain features, certain ways of doing things, certain behaviours that are part of your race, or at the very least, on a shallow level, that your appearance is different because of your race. And this is one of the great lies of Western civilization, and it's one that's been perpetuated for thousands of years. Now, some people were onto it and realised that, race doesn't exist. However, it's only been in the past 50 or 60 years that we've actually been able to genetically verify that race doesn't exist. There's no marker for race. Because the idea of race, the way it's been put out there, is very much as if we are a slightly different species from one another. And we're not, we're all Homo sapien, we're this exact same species. However, a lot of people have vested interests and would like you to believe that we are different. And we're fundamentally different, we are innately different, we are born different. This is a lot of nonsense. Now, I'm not talking from the point of view of someone who's an idealist. I'm not an idealist. I wish I were. The world would seem a lot rosier to me then. I'm not an idealist. I deal in cold, hard facts. And the fact of the matter is, race doesn't exist. Now, you hear people saying things like, I'm proud to be black, I'm proud to be white. What does that really mean? Well, a lot of the time, it's purely born out of fear of difference. And some of the time it's born out of political or social power struggles. For example, there are people who take, for example, the Ku Klux Klan. I mean, they would have a lot to lose if the idea that race doesn't exist was bandied about. There are movements within the black communities who would lose out if the idea of what it was to be black were removed. And I'm not talking about removing the idea of it, because what in fact people are talking about when they say I'm proud to be black or I'm proud to be white, although I'm proud to be white has a different connotation to it because of the persecution of other supposed races over the years from the white race. It's actually a cultural and a social thing that they're talking about. They're talking about their culture. And culture is learned. A way to look at things. A way to behave in certain situations. All different intricacies and traits that people have, subtleties of communication that are all different depending on your culture. Art, music, all these things are products of different cultures, or influenced by different cultures. So people talk about black music, or white music, or whatever, or Asian music, Eastern European music, Indian music, that sort of thing. But what they are talking about is a cultural thing. It's learned, it's environmental, it's not innate. There is no innate difference between any of the human beings that are on this planet. We are all born the same, and we're all born equal. At least we should be born equal, because in the political arrangements in certain countries, and normally the social contract that people have, whereby the idea of race has been used to keep a section of the population oppressed, or away from power, and away from money, and usually taken advantage of, so that the ruling class, or the ruling group, the ruling elite, can get money from that supposed underclass. But it's nothing to do with race. It's to do with power. It's to do with people staying in power. So anyway, I'm going on to a different subject here, but I just wanted to say that this idea that there is such a thing as race is a lot of bollocks. It's nonsense. Race doesn't exist. If you disagree with me, go and actually look and try to find me a piece of biological evidence that shows that race exists. That you can actually group together human beings based on something that's verifiable, and not based on something as silly and outrageous as saying, oh, colour of your skin, or certain features that you have in your face, because it's nonsense, and there is no scientific evidence to back up that idea. Now, I know there are a couple of people on the far right who, in America, who claim that they talk about how certain races have, where they talk about dominant genes and passive genes and all that, completely misunderstanding how genetics works. But they use this idea of dominance and passive genes because it's in the social conscience or consciousness, and people will think it sounds mildly scientific, and our society places so much in science being believable. So anyway, no scientific basis for race. Go and look for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Go and look for yourself. Go and find out about it, and it'll make you think twice, hopefully, about what race is. Not just the way that you perceive other people, but the way that you perceive yourself. Because the things that you talk about being race are cultural, and if they are cultural, then they are not innate, and they are not things that can, people can learn them and can unlearn them, and can learn how to do things a different way, or can learn how to be part of a culture. So that's what I wanted to say, really. If it made much sense. Bit of a ramble, bit of a mess, but there we go. No such thing as race. See you later.